welcome back. We're talking about relationships today, and I heard that this is one that a lot of people are anticipating. It was really helpful for me, and it's also the third letter in PERMA because we covered positive emotions last week and then engagement 2 weeks ago, so R for relationships. Love is a unique emotion. It's a two-way emotion shared between usually two people. It's kind of like gratitude in a way. Gratitude is also shared between two people. There's a receiving end, there's also a giving end. Same with love, receiving end and giving end. In psychology, especially in love, we talk a lot about the attachment theory. And the attachment theory is the study of how human beings respond within relationships when hurt, separated from loved ones, or perceiving a threat. A very prominent psychologist, Mary Ainsworth, did something called the strange situation test, where there was a stranger, a mother, and a child all put in the same room. And to see if when the mother left, they wanted to see how the child reacted. And there was 3 different types of ways the child could have reacted, and these different types of ways became known as the attachment theory. And this theory is something that you take from your birth all the way to your grave. This theory is primarily applied to children between 9 and 18 months. And the 3 conclusions of the study described 3 different patterns of behavior. Securely attached, avoidant, and ambivalent. Securely attached means that the child was sad to see the parent leave, comforted when she returns. And this means that your parent is a supportive and affectionate person and can lead to a securely attached child. An avoidant child was not upset by the parent leaving or returning. Emotionally unavailable parents can lead to an avoidant child. And finally, ambivalent, which was 10%. They show distress even before separation and difficult to comfort by the caregiver. Critical or rejecting parents can lead to an ambivalent child. How do these styles manifest in our relationships? Secure relationships mean that we tend to enjoy closeness. We find intimacy easy to establish. We expect partners to be trustworthy and reliable and readily turn to them for comfort and support. Avoidant relationships, we are uncomfortable with closeness. We find it difficult to trust our partners, and we maintain emotional distance from them, valuing independence over closeness and withdrawing when distressed rather than seeking comfort. And finally, ambivalent relationships, we constantly worry about being abandoned. We want more closeness than our partners are willing or able to give. In the case of securely attached individuals, there's a whole bunch of differences that we can see. Primarily the ones being, they are more likely to practice safer sex, they're less upset in the wake of stress, they're more likely to seek support from others when it is needed, more likely to compromise in conflicts, less likely to be depressed, and more likely to have good self-esteem. When you're a child, all of the experiences that you have from parent to child, the love that they give you and the way they give it to you is so prominent in the way that you grow up, in the way that your personality is created, and in the way that we give love to others. If you decide to have a child, or if you decide to have a partner or a spouse, the way you give love to your spouse is actually predominantly known to you by the way your parent gave you love. In our brains, we have 3 neurotransmitters that are known to be positive or happy-inducing hormones. There are oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. In the case of oxytocin, it is known as the biochemical basis of connectedness, and it increases in certain situations. It surges primarily during pregnancy, when mothers and fathers are bonding with their young, for couples, especially when reproduction is in the cards, for people who enjoy social relationships, and it increases levels of trust and encourages generosity. And when people are given oxytocin externally, they tend to make more pro-social decisions and pay more attention to others. Another theory is called the equity theory. The equity theory assumes that people calculate costs and benefits involved in interacting with others. According to the theory, equitable relationships last and inequitable relationships break up. So when you look at relationships, a lot of times the equity theory will be that people tend to befriend and tend to be in relationships with people who have the same amount of things as they do. There is a representative list of interpersonal resources. These can include goods, information, love, money, services, and status. This theory should definitely be taken with a grain of salt because there is a limitation. A lot of people do a lot of things for a variety of reasons, not just because they're going to receive something in exchange. Relationships are usually pursued for their own sake and contribute to our well-being. Not everyone is looking out to get something from you, and neither are you always looking to get something from someone else. Think of 2 people, or maybe, more than 2 people, but just a happy couple that you know of. Maybe it's your friend, your parents, someone you know. It can even be a celebrity. What do they tell us when they're, interacting with one another in front of us? They did a study, and they asked 351 couples who had been married for more than 15 years to select from a list of 39 statements, those that best explained why their marriages lasted. 300 of these couples describes their marriages as happy ones. Unsurprisingly, the results of this study came out to be, my spouse is my best friend. I love that I'm friends with who I'm married with. I would want my spouse as a friend even if we weren't married. Fewer than 10% of these couples believed that enjoyable sex kept their marriages together, though most were happy with their sex lives. The theme here is friendship. So just fall in love with your friend. That's it. That's all you need for a happy marriage. It's not saying that your spouse is your replacement for your friends. It's not. Your friends can offer a whole bunch of different advantages and likeness of things to do than your spouse. In this study, they wanted to see if we were happiest with friends. And it turns out we are the happiest with our friends. They have a whole bunch of activities that people do with their friends. And if you look at the positive affect, the negative affect, competent, impatient, and tired, it turns out the positive affect is so much higher when we're with our friends. Our negative affect is lower when we're with our friends, doing intimate relations, socializing, relaxing. And you can see how tired we are, how impatient we get. So intimate relations take a lot of our focus. They take a lot of our time and our effort. And that's why we're really tired when we're done with them. We just want to be alone after we're done with our intimate relationships because we just need a breather because we're really tired. It's a really interesting thing, but we are happiest with our friends. Relationships are the backbone to our happiness. We need intimate relationships with people to feel better because they can pick us up. They are there for us when times get hard. They are there for us when there are the happiest times. And positive relationships distinguish the happiest 10% of people because they have a circle of friends, a circle of people that are supporting them. They have more face-to-face interactions. The more energy, the more engaged, and the longer their focus lasts. Their social connections predict more individual learning behavior. And they are 7 times as likely to be engaged in jobs, produce higher quality work, and have higher well-being. Right, so in stressful situations, a lot of people tend to close off themselves to relationships. When you're feeling really sad, you just broke up with someone, right? And you're crying alone in your room with a bag of potato chips. I do not blame you. You haven't left your room in 3 days. But in those kind of situations, those are when we need our friends the most. We have this innate desire to push people away and be really sad by ourselves in a closed room. If we look at the stats on that graph that I just showed you, we're happier when they're with our friends. And yes, we want to wallow in our sadness for a little while, but our friends can really pull us back up when we're going through a horrible breakup, when we're having a bad day. And this theory is known as tend and befriend. Having someone sit next to you can predict improved cardiovascular recovery, so your heart, decrease your pain, and you can have improved psychological resilience. You have some of those big moments in your life, getting into college. The girl you like said yes when you asked her out on a date. Or your promposal was just straight through the roof. Those are some really big moments in our life. But we also have micro moments. And micro moments are, those small, seemingly inconsequential moments in our life that we tend to cherish, and they tend to have a really positive impact on our emotions. For example, the other day I was playing category with my friends, and we had some of the dumbest answers for the categories. That small, inconsequential game. We didn't even see each other. We were just on FaceTime. But I was laughing so hard, my family had to tell me to shut up. And I'm sure you have all of these little micro moments too, and you think of them and it brings you great happiness. And it's like, haha, I don't remember what we were talking about, but we were so dumb. Friendship has a huge impact on how lonely we feel. And Generation Z, we're known to be lonely. We have songs about being lonely. We're in quarantine, for crying out loud. We're all lonely. And this probably is the worst time to talk about relationships because we can't really go out and ask someone on a date because we gotta be 6 feet away from each other. But have you seen that couple in New York City that asked each other out on a date? Oh, you don't know about this? Oh my god. But they actually started dating one another in quarantine. It is the most wholesome stories you can ever find about dating someone in quarantine. It's great. Look up quarantine date New York City. You will find it. It is very cute and wholesome. Roommates! If you have a gay roommate, You have half an hour less study time each day. You also have a 0.2 lower GPA. If you have a drinker roommate, you have a 0.25 lower GPA, non-drinker with a drinker, a 0.33 lower GPA if you're a drinker and your roommate is also a drinker. Food for thought. And then if you have a diverse roommate, you have a more diverse friendship, and you also are more positive about diversity policies. I'm sure you're also more open to learning about, their culture and where they come from. And I fully support the random roommate for your first year because I learned a lot about my roommate. I learned a lot about her culture. This is roommate appreciation, Wei. I love you. Every single friend that we have, and I'm not saying like, hey, what's up, bro, kind of friend, and that's it. Each intimate friend, close relationship we have amounts to 2 average fewer days of feeling lonely per year. 2 every year. So imagine, one day you can have enough friends to never feel lonely. That's a lie. You will feel lonely sometimes in your life. But you have to remember that you had built a support system. And this support system is there to tend and befriend you when you have fallen into the most stressful, loneliest, most horrible breakup in your life. They can help uplift you, and they can have you on your feet back in no time. On average, people feel lonely 48 days per year. So, having a couple of extra friends makes you about 10% less lonely than other people. And yes, we talked about spouses being your friend, but sometimes they don't help as much. And siblings don't affect loneliness at all, according to this study. I don't know about the siblings one, but I like having my sibling sometimes. He's filming for me right now. I'm just kidding. My sibling brings me a lot of joy. Clearly, you can see. He has a lot of fun making fun of me on camera. Yeah. He asks the real questions about Star Wars. And sometimes I feel a little less lonely. And I'm not buttering him up because it's his birthday today. Happy birthday. Much love. You remember how when I said last week that success does not always mean happiness, and with success does not always come happiness? Well, with friendship comes happiness, and then comes success. In that order. Because happiness will bring you success, and friendship will bring you happiness, because friends are the most goofiest, funniest, lovable creatures on this planet. We love them so much. I mean, and what else are friends for? They're there to cheer you up. If we spend time with people who have positive emotions, we are 50% more likely to have positive emotions as well. So befriend those bubbly, positive emotion, really annoyingly optimistic people. Maybe it will rub off on you too. Thank you! Thank you for watching this video. This is my outro. If this project has at all impacted you or has helped you in any way, shape, or form, please tell me so I can include your little statement in my project, in my final project for my class. If you want it to be confidential, I will definitely make it confidential. Do you like my background? We set it up. I'm so happy. The other one was a little bit too temporary for me.
This whole thing has just been taken over by Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Even the background.
Even the background. I did tell you to shut up today. I also called you a loser today.
This is the treatment I get for filming for.
I said, have a good day. I love all my friends. I want you to be my friend too. I need more friends. So please be my friend. Yeah, good job.
Just sounded like a cry for us.
Shut up! Happy birthday!
Guys, this might be a limited series due to abusement to the cameraman.
Roommates. That was great!
So bad.
That was great! Okay.
Dress up.
Huh? You want me to dress up?
For the theme of each topic of your episodes.
I'm gonna have a huge heart on my chest.
Yeah, or I know you're a girl. You definitely have a shirt that has a heart somewhere.
I
You
hate
100%. Okay, well, mom has shirts,
Yeah.
so you can go wear one of those.
No. I like my personal style.
Or just wear something Star Wars every day because we talk about Star Wars all
Yeah,
the time.
that's true. I actually probably have enough clothes for that. I have so much Star Wars stuff. My roommate
You
is
can have my Kylo.
I love Kylo Ren.
I know, but what about Anakin? He had Padme and Obi-Wan.
Okay, so you know that attachment theory I was talking about? Anakin Skywalker saw his mom die. He was also a slave, and he did not get to have a very intimate relationship with his father, if anything at all. And his overwhelming need to protect Padme showed up because he had an overwhelming need to protect his mother, and he could not when he was younger. That passion drives him to do anything for Padme, even fall over to the dark side, because he needs to protect his mother. In essence, Padme turns into the person he could not protect, and he would do anything. That's why he turned into Darth Vader. That's why he turned to the dark side. We're just trying to keep up the Star Wars theme we have going for some odd reason. Anakin's attachment from way before in his life tended to overtake when he became in a stressful situation. Anakin was used to being alone, and he is used to being independent, and so he has Obi-Wan, yes, but he doesn't know how to rely on Obi-Wan to show him back to the light side. He doesn't know how to rely on anyone to bring him back over to the light side, and that's why he takes matters into his own hands, and he tries to protect Padme by himself. And doing that, he's like, I would be on the dark side for you because I want you to live, even though Padme dies of a broken heart, as we talked about last episode. That also shows up here.